What is up, my brothers from another mother? We got a sponsored request today from a viewer subscriber that is currently lost. Subject was lost. So let's hop straight into this. I'll explain a little bit more about how these things work going forward, just as a reminder. But he said, "Hey, Richard, here's my current situation. He's a 19-year-old lad, just started renting a home 2 months ago, 1,400 bucks a month, including utilities, with 2 bedrooms, one of which I use as a office. So he's working from home. I was going to college last year, but dropped out to expand an educational YouTube channel I was running into an actual business, which now generates about 12 to 15K a month. That's awesome. That's like actually beyond awesome, because about a month ago, I had people complaining about how do I become a millionaire, and it's impossible, and I don't know how to uncheck from the grind. And here we have a 19-year-old that's basically doing what I already was talking about, which is if you make about 270 bucks a day over 10 years, you've got about $1 million. So this guy figured it out. I'm very proud and pleased to hear that part at the age of 19. That's great. Most guys don't even get there. Most guys are still sitting around living at home. Maybe they're getting stoned too often, playing video games way too long. They're not moving anywhere in life. Anyway, he goes, as far as health is concerned, I cook most of my own meals. I'm slim and average looking, but I don't go to the gym. About 5'8". Well, you've got lots of room to improve there. Don't worry about the height thing. You're tall enough. Although, you will find some women online will draw a line in the sand at like, oh, you've got to be at least 6 foot tall. Don't worry about that. If you clean up yourself nicely, put on some nice clothes, and fix your physique so you got a nice V taper. I think the golden ratio is like 1.6 shoulder to waist. That's all you got to do. You get that, you're going to be a in-demand guy to women. Everything is fine on paper, but since I dropped out, I haven't been meeting anyone new. This is especially a problem because I'm a pretty introverted guy. I've said this before on my channel, may not have heard it recently or in a while, but I'm very introverted. I'm an introvert. Anybody that's met me in person or even at the 21 convention will notice that I'm not very extroverted. I mean, although I can be in the right situations amongst friends that I've known for a while, I get exactly what you're saying. You're content with being alone. My question is, like, don't get yourself in a place where you're going to be lonely, is what I'm talking about. Alone and introverted is okay, but when you get to a position where you're lonely, that's where I worry. And I think that's what you're talking about here, where you say you're lost. Anyway, I've been feeling very isolated, and most events I find in my town are out of my age range, mostly people in the 30s and 40s. 14s. I think you mean 40s there. I'm not sure where I should be going to meet people my age. I dated one girl in high school. Well, hang on, before we hop into the girl thing. That's okay, dude. I mean, some of my best friends are older than me. In some cases, one of my great friends, he just turned 69 and he's starting all over. He lost all of his money a few years ago and he had to go back to work. He just made some really shitty choices. I like guys that are older than me, if I'm being honest. In fact, I would probably prefer to hang out with somebody that's 10 or 15 years older than me than somebody that's younger, just because they've got more gray in their beard. They've got more life experiences. They're more interesting, if you will. So let's talk about the girl stuff you're hopping into. Yeah, so with respects to that, embrace it, enjoy it. You might get introduced to people your own age, depending on what happens at those events and the people that you're meeting in your 30s and 40s. You might even meet a couple of really good people that say, hey, my daughter's your age. I'd love to introduce you to her. So I wouldn't let the age difference discourage you. In fact, embrace it. So dated one girl in high school, which didn't last long. So I don't have much experience when it comes to women. I have a few friends back at home, but none of them are ambitious or share many common interests with me. That's okay. I mean, as you grow older and as you grow up, you're going to leave friends and people behind. I'm 45. I'm not hanging out with the same people that I did in high school or in my 20s or even in my 30s. A lot of those people have, I've grown, I've adapted, I've become a newer, better, stronger version of myself. And it's okay to leave the people behind that aren't coming along for the ride, that aren't doing the work on themselves. Totally normal. Absolutely 100% normal. As you reinvent yourself and you move along through life, you will leave people behind. It's just part of it. Just get used to it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So you got friends back home. They don't share interests. Normally I turn to family for advice, but I don't have any good relationship with my parents. So this segment here kind of deals with your introversion. And again, the introversion part as long as it ties into being okay with being alone, that's fine. I think every guy needs to be okay with being alone because far too many people rely on outside sources of entertainment, or even go through like serial monogamous relationships from girl to girl to girl to girl sort of thing. So I think every guy, if you're going to grow into a functional masculine alpha sort of dude, you need to be able to be okay with being alone. Not lonely, but alone. Very, very different things. Lonely means you don't have access to people. Lonely means that you might even end up with a personality disorder because you're not getting access to other human beings. But that's not a problem that you have because you're able to go to events with people that are older than you. I mean, 30s and 40s is cool. I mean, if you're 19, hey, what happens if you find a hot 31-year-old woman that wants to get with you, right? I mean, there's lots of opportunities for you to learn and grow, not just on the sexual marketplace, but even from older men that have something to offer. Totally proud of the fact that you're doing that at the age of 19. I wish you would have linked the channel because I would have shouted out to it or at least checked it out, made mention. But hey, that's something that you guys can do on these sponsored types of requests. I'll decide whether or not I'm going to mention it or not, but I think here it might have been fitting. Anyway, the smaller issue I'm having is organizing my business. What are some things you can recommend for somebody just getting started? Any books? That's a really broad question as far as organizing your business. So I'm going to broadly answer it because you're broadly asking it without giving enough specific or definitive terms on what it is that you're stuck on. So usually when I do my phone coaching calls, the first question I'll ask somebody is, what is it that I can do to be most useful for you or unlock some new like level of achievement that you're stuck on? I don't really know what that is. All I know is that you're kind of stuck on organizing your business. One of the things that I'd recommend is what I've called a vision, a vivid vision or painted picture. I'm going to try to find a really old video now and put it up on the top right of the screen. It's one that I did many years ago where I was talking about not doing vision boards, but using a painted picture idea. And essentially what it is you're going to lean out 3 years into the future. You're going to identify what it is that's super important to you in your business. You want to clearly, and you don't do this around distractions, people, family, when like there's TVs on or anything like this. You want to fully disconnect. Ideally, a pen and a piece of paper would be great. Find a hammock, hang in between two trees somewhere peaceful and go and do it there. You're going to break down the important components of your business. You're running a YouTube channel, and what is it that you said you were selling or offering? Educational YouTube channel. Okay, so whatever it is that your educational channel delivers, you want to identify key areas. How many subscribers you want to have, maybe how many views you have, the sort of impact you want to have, how your audience views you, or how they actually come to you, for example. Like I know that a lot of my audience, the bulk of it anyway, finds me because of trauma. They're stuck on something in their life that they're looking for answers to. Maybe their parents aren't around, or maybe their parents weren't very useful in offering that kind of advice, so they go searching for answers in YouTube. So get super clear on what it is that you're building and how it is that people are drawn to you. And then you can build out things like the sort of content that you'd like to create. Maybe if you're going to build a community, how many people you would envision in the community in 3 years' time. Again, 3 years' time is a good timeline. So if you can lean out in the future 3 years' time and paint a clear picture of what it is that you want it to look like and break it all down, the revenue that you'd like to be making, maybe the courses you'd like to offer, events you'd like to speak at, whatever is a key metric for you, identify somewhere between, I'm going to say 5 to 9 key areas that should matter to you, and then paint a picture of what you'd like things to look like in 3 years' time. You've now leaned out in the future. That's your painted picture. It's a vivid vision. You put it up on the wall. And every time you do something, every single day, you're going to look at that painted picture or that vivid vision, as we're calling it, and identify whether or not what you're doing right now is going to draw you closer to what your goal is or push you farther away from what your goal is. And it's really as simple as that. I don't like to overcomplicate things like that when it comes to organizing, because I find that if you overanalyze things or you spend too much time planning out, the business plan and the vision. I've seen guys come at me with like 57-page plans, and it's like, dude, I got no time to read this, and you're overanalyzing everything. It should ideally be 1 to 2 pages long. That's it. It should really be no longer than a blog post, so less than like 1,000, maybe 750 words, for example. Make it clear, make it concise. Make sure that you subscribe to every single word on that plan. And then every single day that you do something, you're going to organize your day to align with your plan. And you don't have to worry about what every single step is along the way. All you have to know is, what is the goal? What is the vision? What does the painted picture look like? And every single day when you make choices and decisions for your business, for your life, you're going to align it with that. By the way, another component that I would build into it is your personal vision for your own life, what you see yourself doing in 3 years' time. So I hope that helps. That hopefully adds some clarity to you. Couple things, we're no longer able to do reach requests. So again, I'll mention it towards the end here. We've got a request tab. So entrepreneursincars.com/requests. You can type in your name, email address, your subject, and what your video request is specifically. And then you hit the PayPal button. It's $100 to sponsor the video topic. It goes on the channel. You'll of course get the feedback from everybody else that's watching this. Hopefully they're getting some value and can offer some advice too. If you need one-on-one coaching, there's also a request a call with me on this tab as well. And you can book my time there. So hope that helps. I've got a few of these in the pipeline now, so bear with me. If you make a request, it may take me anywhere from 7 to 10 days to get it out. I'm going to try to get them out within 3 to 4 days of seeing them in my inbox, but bear with me. I'll get them recorded and I'll get them published on the channel. I sometimes have a pipeline of videos in production on the channel, so it might take a while for it to get published. But what I will do is I will email you the link back immediately after recording it, so you get the free preview before probably everybody else does in the channel. Hope that helps. See you guys in the next video. Peace.